Welcome to Talk 1260 KTRC. You're listening to the Humanity Behind the Vanity. This is Dr. Daniel Ronel. I'm a plastic surgeon. I'm here with my wife, Betsy.
Hello.
And we have the great Dr. Rita Dodge.
Back!
She's back for more. And her finger is on the pulse of things growing in Santa Fe. Good things to eat. And why there are no tomatoes yet. And
Right.
let's talk about that for now.
Go for it, Dr. Dodge.
Okay.
What do you want to tell us about?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were asking if there were tomatoes showing up at the market yet, and I was saying they would be just showing up
The farmer's
now.
market we're talking
Sorry, the
about.
farmer's market, Santa
Mhm.
Fe farmer's market, yeah. So it really depends a lot on where people are growing their food. I'm out in El Dorado, I have a garden, and I cover my tomatoes, but I'm just now getting blossoms, so I don't even have the tomato fruit.
Right.
Yeah.
You have some tomato fruit,
The fruits are coming.
but they're not, right.
They're not mature yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but people who are in the Espanola Valley and other warmer areas are going to have some of the tomatoes just coming out. My CSA, which I've mentioned before, which stands for Community Supported Agriculture, which means I paid at the beginning of summer
Right.
a chunk, and I get every week a beautiful bag.
Yeah, what have you been
Yeah.
getting?
Well, this week in my bag I got gorgeous tomatoes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're up in Abiquiu
Abiquiu,
and
right.
in that area,
Yeah.
and so I had 5 huge, gorgeous red tomatoes. I had potatoes. I had huge yellow squash. I had lettuce. I had beets and turnips.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean it's just heavenly, and it's like a little fun package, you know.
Yeah,
Oh, what's in there?
it's like
and
Christmas
what should we
everybody.
make?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I
This
love
is
it.
where
I
you
love it.
pay at the beginning of the growing season, and the farmer
It's a
brings
local
you
farm.
brings you stuff once a week,
You have a
whatever
meeting
they have, and
place.
then you cook
Right.
based on what you get rather than planning a meal, which is a very natural way of cooking.
Right.
It is,
Yeah.
and much more fun.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and you get things that are really fresh and
Mhm.
really in season,
Mhm.
which is great.
I love it.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've grown red tomatoes this year and they're easy.
Yeah.
We've got tons. And
Yeah.
zucchinis.
Oh yeah,
I
Right.
mean, they're as long as my arm. I let them grow long, big,
Really?
'cause I think it's funny.
and they grow fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
super
kind of get out
fast.
there and harvest.
Exactly.
What's nice about eating fresh, live food is that it contains its own digestive enzymes. And when you buy food that's processed or overcooked or out of a can, you almost need to add enzymes to your diet, which you can get at Whole Foods or something. But when you eat live fruit and vegetables, you can digest it. It's so much healthier to eat it that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and like I think I've mentioned before, the vitamin content is higher because the more time it spends out of the ground, the more it starts to kind of decompose, so to speak.
Right.
Right.
And it just tastes better,
Good.
too.
I know.
Good.
Oh,
What were we
yeah.
talking about? Raspberries or strawberries?
Oh yes, what do you want to tell us about the Salmon Ranch?
Yes, so I want to make sure people know about the ranch up in Mora.
Yes.
Okay, out in Mora toward, Vegas,
Best place
Las
to get
Vegas
Christmas
and all
trees.
that.
Yeah, more has the
Do
best
you,
Christmas
you
trees.
cut them down? Have you gone out there to come down or just bought them cut?
We've bought them
Up there.
cut.
But
Okay.
they
We
last
haven't-
forever.
We've gone to
Yes.
the forest
Yeah.
before, but we
Yeah.
didn't go to Mora. But
Yeah.
my God, our trees, we leave them up for a test.
Exactly.
We put them down in
Yeah.
March. They're still going
I know, it's true.
without water.
Yeah,
I
and
stopped
there's
watering
in Santa Fe, on Old Pecos Trail, there's a Pecos tree lot that they set up that comes from Pecos trees as well. It's
Yeah.
local.
Nice.
It's really
Yeah,
nice.
no, those are the
So the
best.
Salmon Ranch.
Okay,
Yes,
Salmon Ranch.
Salmon Ranch, as in SALMAN,
Right.
and they're online. You can look them up, and they have a raspberry ranch that they've had for quite a long time,
Yeah.
and you can go and pick your own raspberries. We don't have a lot of pick your own fruit
Sadly, we do not.
farms. Yeah, well, it's interesting because I've talked to lots of farmers who grow fruit, and they say that it's just kind of not worth it anymore. There's a lot of litigation. People climb up in a tree and fall
right.
out.
We were so disappointed when we went to get those apples, those amazing apples. Where was that?
Last year, someone
In-
at school told us about. Oh, you got to go to this. I forget
Right,
where it was.
over
South
3
of here.
days, right,
Uh-huh.
in a little valley, and we thought we'd get to pick the apples, but they were picked for you.
Right.
Yes.
Dixon?
No,
Was
was it
it's
Dixon?
I think it's
Okay.
Dixon.
Yeah.
That's one of the places.
Because I was
Right.
going to mention, I'm friends with Dixon Apples on Facebook, and
Yeah.
so I get all their updates, and they
Right.
pick them for you.
Yeah, they say that, like I said, if someone falls out of the tree,
Yeah,
they'll
sure.
sue them, and then
Uh-huh.
people do damage to the trees because they don't know how to pick
no,
it.
but when I was a
Right.
kid picking apples,
Oh,
a turkey
so
and orchards
nice.
used to fall out of the trees all the time.
I would never even think to climb in a tree. I think
That was
it's
so much fun.
disrespectful to the tree. I mean,
I mean, they
why would
expected
you
us to.
climb?
Well, and of course, even the ranches that do pick in their orchards, they use ladders mostly.
Right.
Like, I
Exactly.
mean, I actually belong to a fruit CSA as well, just
Oh,
to
nice.
digress for a second.
Yeah.
That's up in, of course it's going out of my head at the moment.
Yeah.
It'll come back to me in a second. Where we can go up as CSA members and pick.
That's nice.
And we did apricots this year, which was so fun. So my husband, son, and I went
Love
up,
fresh
and well, my son just caught them as they fell out of the tree and ate them.
That's
And
cute.
yeah, we just climb up and pick them really,
That's
really
fun.
ripe. Yeah, delicious, so good.
It was only apricots, or is it all fruits?
Well, they have, it's Eve's Ranch is the
Okay.
name of it,
Okay.
EVES, Eve's Ranch, and he, Andre, is at the farmer's market every Saturday and usually Tuesday mornings, and he has a CSA where you pay at the beginning and then get a discount all
Yeah.
through the summer.
Oh, nice.
And he had cherries, and then he had apricots, and now we have plums, and the early apples are coming out, and peaches.
And you get to pick all these?
Well, you can go up and pick if you want to, or you can just buy them picked.
Oh,
Whatever
and
you
totally,
prefer.
we're gonna join that CSA.
You have to, and it's
I mean,
organic,
right,
and it's
nice.
delicious.
I think if you don't
This
ever
is
pick
just
an
so
apple,
important.
yeah, or a fruit from a tree, you're missing something out of life.
I had a patient in my office today. I've done a tummy tuck on her. She's had diverticulitis and a colon resection.
Oh,
She
goodness.
still has a large girth, and she has very little fat under her skin. And I've been speaking to her, and finally, we're talking about nutrition. We've been talking about nutrition for a long time, but the issue for her is that she's not eating a lot of food, but the food that she's eating is processed or
Oh, yeah.
has some artificial stuff in it, and your body doesn't know how to deal with that, so it thinks it's starving because it's not getting nutrients that it can handle, so it thinks it's starving. You might eat, a whole can of something, but if your body can't digest it, it thinks it's starving. So what does it do? Not only does it make you hungry and have cravings, but it makes you store everything that you eat into fat rather than, sort of burning the fat. So if you feel sated, then you'll start to lose weight and burn the fat. And how do you get sated? You eat the stuff that you're craving, the essential stuff, such as, the fruits and vegetables that aren't processed, essential fatty acids, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
sometimes I'll tell my patients before they even cut the bad stuff out is just add more of the good stuff.
Exactly.
Yes.
Just flood their
That's
body with
right.
more
Right.
nutrition,
Right.
and
Smart.
then they'll naturally
they'll
eat and
naturally
want
stuff.
less.
That's great.
That's
Yeah,
very
I mean
smart.
it's easier to add more than to take away.
Right.
And
Right.
and it really is. People don't realize that their body is giving them signals that they're misinterpreting.
Right.
And so Eve's Ranch, that's a good one. And then so the Salmon Ranch is nice because no one can fall out of a raspberry bush. Maybe
No.
into one.
Right, right.
But I don't think anybody sued them for raspberry scratches.
God, I hope not.
But it's so great because it's beautiful up there.
Yeah.
It's a lovely day.
Yeah.
You go up, you
It's
pick
nice.
raspberries. There's some picnic tables. You go and sit and have your little lunch.
Do you
they
have to
a-
bring yours, or do they have stuff that they've made?
both.
Oh, good.
So
Okay.
we always bring a picnic lunch.
Yes.
Because that's just how we are. But they have a little kind of restaurant cafe kind of place up there, and you
Natural
can
food.
eat. Well, I actually haven't eaten at the
Oh,
restaurant.
okay.
And so I don't think it's exactly all natural, all
Okay.
organic, all local food.
Okay.
But you can get some food if
Okay.
you don't want to schlep your stuff up there.
Okay.
And they have a little store that has jam
Right.
and preserves
Right.
and everything in case
That's
you
nice.
just want to go get that
Yeah.
fresh stuff from their farm
Yeah.
without doing it yourself.
Right. That's a
I-
nice present to send to people who don't live here.
It
People
is.
love that. I've sent it
It's a
before.
nice family. They own Santa Fe greenhouses.
Right, they're very
And
nice. The
they're-
sons still work out in the greenhouses.
Yeah. no,
When,
they're
Yeah.
so
very
when is the
responsible.
raspberry picking?
So it's starting in the next couple of weeks, and
Okay.
so the most important piece of information is that people go online and check out and call because
Salmon.
the it's open and closed at different times,
Okay.
depending on the weather and everything. So people got to
Okay.
call and check into it first before you go up there.
Yeah.
And just a really quick perk about the raspberries is that if you pick a whole bunch like I do and you want to save them,
Yes.
you flash freeze them on a cookie pan. So you get a cookie pan sheets and just kind of sprinkle them out so they're in a one layer.
Okay.
Flash freeze them for like an hour and then pour them into like a plastic bag or something because then they're little like ice balls and they don't all clump together.
Oh,
So
good.
that when you want to make your smoothie later and all that, you just pour them out easily
Oh, that's
Okay.
nice.
all year long.
We have to
That's
wrap
nice.
things up.
Oh, all right, fine.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, well,
good.
thank you for listening to us talk
you.
about food. It's making me hungry.
I know, starving.
Next time I'll bring some.
Yeah.
Thanks to our sponsors, Geneva Medical. You can find out more information about everything we talked about on DanielRonelMD.com.
You'll see this clip.
We have
Yeah.
a tip by Marion Urban coming up, and
We'll be
we'll
right
be
back.
back in a few minutes. Thanks.